Welcome to episode 4 of Around the Mage Table. I'm Frank, joined by my co-hosts here, Shawnee, Scrap, and Lithian. How are y'all doing today?
Great.
Doing pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah? Lithian, I'm taking a page from your book. I've got a gin and tonic with me this afternoon or evening. And what are you drinking?
Drinking some High West.
See, you drink it on the rocks. I can't do that. Good for you, but I can't do it.
No, this is neat.
Yeah.
This glass has a mountain inside.
Oh, that's what. Okay, cool. I've got one of those fancy ice cube makers, so that's why I thought it was. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Shawnee, how you feeling after the big win last episode?
It's one of the top 5 things that has happened to me in the last.
Impressive.
Month.
Very
Yeah.
impressive.
Oh.
Well, has it changed your life? I mean, have you gotten new calls, or are you being brought in to BlizzCon to host some things?
I can't say all the stuff that happened, but like someone did reach out to me from Blizzard.
Oh.
So
I hope it's not Steve Denuser. We'll talk about that later.
God.
Today's episode's honestly going to be pretty short, I think. I mean, unless we go on some tangents. We're going to go over some of the news in WoW, some of the big things that are happening. Still no news on 10.2.6 officially, but we do have some hints from Holly Longdale, which we'll go over. And then we're going to talk a little bit about hero towns. Not all of them have been released, but there has been a lot of drama coming from some of them. And I'll be honest, based on what we were talking about before we started today's show, I have a feeling that maybe Lithian, Shawnee probably knows him because he's already reviewed him. I know he wants to be prepared for today. But Scrap definitely doesn't know what's going on, even with her own classes.
I never know what's going on. I only come to the podcast just to learn what's going on.
Yeah, despite trying to argue that you were the best WoW player of the 4 of us.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to be informed to do that.
I want Lithian, can you put a pin on that when we talk about how she doesn't read Wowhead and then it says that the last talent tree was better than this current talent tree?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Just put a pin in it. All right. Well, anyways, let's just jump straight into the news. Let me pull it up here for y'all. And actually, we're going to go start with Love is in the Air being live. Now, I know the new trading post has launched this month with a lot of transmog gear. Lithian, you are probably our leading expert on that. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, about all of it. It's terrible. I mean, it's great.
What's terrible? You got the transmog early.
It's great. Yeah, I got the monthly thing done early, and my dude's running around with a little skirt on. It's great.
Dude, it's great.
Care to, if anyone doesn't know it, well, what is the theme? What's going on? I mean, obviously we got February with Valentine's Day.
Yeah, it's all Valentine's Day stuff. It's like a magical girl outfit kind of, which is cool.
Yeah.
even for Lithian's male characters.
I love that. I think I know Lithian, we're talking about Final Fantasy a bit, but in Final Fantasy it's like everybody can wear everything, and I think that's cool for WoW.
And my Worgen looks super hot.
Cool.
I think it's fun. I mean, like, you think about WoW, like the armor bikini is like in Classic and like Burning Crusade, it's like, oh, men are wearing like a full suit of armor and you put it on a girl and they're wearing like a bikini.
Yeah,
so I think it's cool that it's like, you know, it looks like a dress on your girl, it looks like a dress on your guy. Like,
dude, my dude's running around.
Well, and there's like bows with big hearts on it.
Heart staff.
Yeah,
dude, my dude's got the heart staff. He's got the little skirt with the.
I love the shield. The heart shield is so cool.
I got a warlock, so I can't use the shield.
I can't use it either, but I bought it.
But the trading post is not the only thing. Obviously, there's Love is in the Air, and Scrap, as we were prepping today's episode, you caught wind of this mana ray.
Well, the thing is, I did all the holidays like years ago to get the pink proto drake, and so I'm not updated on like what the new stuff is. Like, I have all the old stuff, and I want the mana ray. He's so cool.
Well, and they've been updating a lot of the holiday seasons throughout. Did you get your toy from Santa Claus this year that lets you make your own dragon flying course?
Oh yeah, I did that one.
Have you used it yet?
I don't remember if I played with it, but I remember you talking about it, and I went and grabbed it.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is just a pet, I think. I don't think it's a mount.
Oh, it's a pet? Oh, I thought it was a pet.
The moth is. The moth is.
Oh, it's the Proto Drake armor. Cute.
And then you have, that is a lot of purple.
Yeah, but can you imagine on like the infinite dragonflight color? It would look cool.
Yeah. But otherwise, another holiday. I don't participate with these that often. Shawnee, what about you? No. No.
Do you have any of the achievements, Frank, or just done none of them?
For the holidays?
Yeah, like the titles.
Oh my god! I mean, like back in vanilla when Brewfest came out, They didn't have achievements back then, so I don't. No, I don't.
You didn't have
I
any
don't think
title
so.
or anything.
I did like the Halloween one because of the Headless Horseman mount and stuff.
Do you have it? I've
yeah.
never gotten it.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, actually, I got it on my priest, and at the time, you could only use it on the character, and everyone was furious, and I was furious because it's like I don't ever play this character, but whatever. Worked out.
Yep.
In other news, MDI has started. Now we have all signed up for the MDI, and for those of you that don't know, this. Sorry, hold on. What?
I don't remember if I did.
You did. You did.
Okay,
we
cool.
all did. But if you are already signed up for it, I think it's now through Raider.io, their website, instead of the old game, whatever it was. I hated that website. But yeah, they have if you go in and participate in the trials and just do 2 keys, you can get this banner for in-game, which we've always loved plopping down at the most opportune times.
Yeah.
Not much here for us.
I haven't Dragonflight ones yet.
We haven't done them. Yeah,
they've
been on every season. We haven't done them. No, they have. We haven't done them.
Okay, I was going to say, we should do it because I don't have one yet.
This is the opportunity for us to do that YouTube video where I just add a bunch of sound effects of like zoinks and what's the
Zoomer stuff. Oof.
No, what's the game it's from though?
Oof, it's from Roblox.
Roblox, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Just a bunch of boomer shit like Roblox oofs.
Zoomer, I said Zoomer.
Oh, sorry. One big change to the format this year is they're doing 2 groups instead of 3 groups. I mean, again, you guys probably don't even watch this, do you?
No. Well, no. If other people are watching it, I like to if somebody says in Discord like, "Oh, dude, they like this group wiped or something." Sometimes I'll pull it up and cheer on if there's fanfare.
I would say then, Scrap, why don't this go around? Why don't you watch it? Right? I mean,
watch it?
Yeah, don't watch. I mean, sorry, I say Scrap. All of us, we should all watch it, right?
Oh.
I know Shawnee watches it at work. Lithin, you watch this all the time. I know you do.
Yeah, man.
But let's watch it for the next episode so we can discuss how much better all these players are than us.
Let's just watch it let's just stream us watching it.
So there is a watch party, like you can stream through it right here. I could sign up for it.
Yeah, let's do that.
But I have my daughter's birthday party this weekend. I don't have the
you can move it. She doesn't know. She's like less than 5, right?
Yeah, I guess.
She doesn't know what dates are.
But yeah, 2 groups this time. I think Echo and Perplex, I think it is, that they're just always the top 2. But I'm hoping this time around we'll see some really crazy tech because we have obviously new dungeons that haven't been seen before. And again, these are ran at the, I think they're running 23s this go around. But they're running, keys are being completed at the 30 level right now. So we'll see stuff that honestly we could do in keys if we ever were to try it. So yeah, I kind of want to see what you guys' thoughts are on the whole competition. So,
well, I do love afterwards when everybody is like, "Oh, do you see this route that they did, or like the skip they did?"
Yeah,
it's cool.
Well, do you love it? Because then you also have people that come in and go like, "Oh, we're going to do this pull that they did there," and it's like, dude, we're not even in Discord together. We can't coordinate like that.
No, I love it when we try something that we couldn't do, like just for fun.
All right, Shawnee, Lithin, you excited?
Always.
Yeah, man.
Shawnee, actually, I'm sorry, I take a sidestep here because we also run a very successful Mario Kart league, and I did want to give you a shout out. I was talking to Tom this morning, and he was really talking about how well you're playing at Mario Kart. Do you think you're going to abandon World of Warcraft to play that full time now?
I mean, depends on how this last season goes.
It's a trick question. You've already abandoned World of Warcraft to play Diablo 4. Got you.
That's true.
Nailed him.
Yep.
All right. In other news, we had Holly Longdale release a blue post explaining, I don't want to say the future of World of Warcraft. She did bring up the roadmap again, which is right here. Nothing is...
Scrap, what's that skull?
I didn't know what the skull is.
For those
10.2.6, why is it a skull? Is it a pirate theme?
We looked at this pre-show, and Scrap, I guess, has been living under a rock and said, "Ooh,
stuff.
a skull! What's that? That's ominous."
I just let it wash over me.
You just have things show up, and you say, "All right, I'm going to do it."
Yeah.
But you know what drives me crazy, Scrap, is that I think in the first episode, I even brought up this skull and crossbones. Because
why is the skull and crossbones? I feel like I would remember you telling me why.
So I'm going to go into the official post here in a second, right?
Okay.
But yes, they're wanting to keep things secret. Okay.
Is skull normally what secret? Like I don't make that connection. You know what I mean?
I think they're trying to give you a hint to what the secret is.
Oh, I hope it's pirate, because I need more
There's-
pirate transmogs.
There's strong leanings towards that it's piratey.
No way, that's awesome. That, like,
Well,
all
okay,
my
hold on, Shawnee, what
hunters'
have you heard? What have
transmogs
you
are
heard?
pirate.
Basically, some stuff I've watched and read is leaning that they've been giving hints for a while, and everyone thought we were getting more piratey stuff earlier. And the last little bit, we've been getting some pirate transmog stuff. So people are like, maybe we finally get it.
But we haven't been getting pirate stuff. We've been getting conquistador
Well,
transmogs,
What,
right?
like the
And who
explorers?
fights conquistadors? The pirates could fight
Do
them.
pirates fight conquistadors?
I
They could.
don't think they're from the same era.
They go to the
technically.
New World, though.
Yes,
They're
conquistadors were
happening
New World. But
in the
anyways,
Caribbean.
point is though that
We could
that
go Pepe
the
pirate.
person who wrote the flavor text that was found in the Ziskaran vaults or whatever it was, he wrote
I
this.
love this Scarab Vault.
But do you remember the book that people were finding in the vaults that was talking about a pirate who went across the big storm on the west coast of the continent of the globe? No one's ever
to the
been
other
past
side of the map?
Kalimdor, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
There was
yeah.
this big book, and it talked about how he had gone there. He was the first to ever make it and return, and that he was building this huge pirate, army.
No way.
To
That's
go.
crazy, because I feel like BFA was very pirate. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
know, but the person
So
that
I
wrote
get-
that admitted
Uh-huh.
recently that he's like, no, I was just doing something for fun. It's nothing to do with, because that's why they
Well-
thought the next expansion was going to be conquistador themed.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys the same, but like when I was in high school and we were first playing this game, and the only map you had was Eastern Kingdom's Kalimdor.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, oh, the next expansion's gonna be the other half of the map. Like when we were kids, you know.
I'll be honest, when I played it, I didn't even think that expansions were coming. I just thought that was it. That was all we got.
I think Outland was out when we were playing.
Oh, no,
So it was
I played
and, like,
beta.
we knew
I'm-
about like Pandaria and Northrend and stuff from Warcraft 3. So it's like, oh, it's gonna be on the other side. They're gonna flip over and you have the whole other map on the other side. It never happened though.
No, but I mean, even beyond that, so we'll talk about it in a second, but 10.2.6 is going to have Season 4 stuff in it. And so we'll get a good idea of Season 4 soon, quotations.
Yeah.
We'll have another patch after that has something called Time Running Pandemonium, which no one has a clue what that has, to do
I
with
hope
anything.
it has to do with pandas.
So the thought is that they're going to bring back the time. What were they called? Challenge modes. The challenge modes
yeah.
for the Mists of Pandaria dungeons.
Huh.
Oh.
So instead of pushing keys high, it's more of a leaderboard of how fast you can do it, and everyone's like the same eye level. So that may be it. There are a lot of things in the game files that are suggested that they're going to bring back a raid from Mists of Pandaria. So most likely, the final one with what's his name, Gorhal guy.
Mm-hmm.
What?
What's the bad guy of Mists of Pandaria, the orc that fled to Warlords of Draenor and then
Oh,
got-
I love him.
and got in the
What was
Makora
his
with
name?
the Thrall.
Yes, I love him. I can't remember his name though. So
We are definitely the podcast for the rest of us.
He had the awesome shoulder
Gorhal.
armor.
Yeah, no, yeah, that too. All right. Anyways, point is, that's the rumors, but again, nothing has been talked about other than Time Running Pandemonium being listed there and some hints in it. They're gonna have a new holiday event, Scrap. There you go, right there.
Okay.
And there are also probably going to be some quests that lead us into War Within. Alpha and Beta will be starting. Alpha's supposed to be starting in March. Right?
Wait, the War Within's coming out in the summer? That's interesting.
No,
They
War
do it, like,
Within
November.
is probably autumn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The
Pre-patch is
expectation
summer.
the expectation is August.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you.
You know what I don't see
I feel
on
like we
here,
talked
though,
about this too.
that I'm looking for. That I
Okay.
don't
What's
see.
that? Scrap.
Where's the Northern Cup? They have the Outland Cup, but it's not on here.
It's not. No.
Nobody cares about it.
I care about it.
No, and maybe in the season 4 they say new open world rewards. Maybe they'll be wedged in there because they're
It's
not.
interesting they have Outland Cup but no Northern Cup.
They're purposely
Not
not
that
talking about these patches though, Scrap. So don't hang your code up thinking it's done.
Need my cup. It's the last achievement that I have on that page, so
Fair enough.
I need it.
But then you'll expect a Pandaria one and Draenor one and
Yeah. But
Get
the
to work,
Northern
Blizzard.
Cup is on the page, so it should be soon.
fair enough. Classic, we're not really going to dive too into this, but just so you guys know, Season of
Classic.
Discovery 2 has started, so Phase 2.
I forgot about Season of Discovery.
Well, it started, Scrap, and they have
Yeah.
new runes and everything, right?
Oops.
They even give you 50% leveling experience, so if you want to get back in. All right, so the roadmap...
Play hardcore again.
The roadmap from Holly Longdale, they're saying they're focusing on 3 things as they continue to work into the 20th anniversary of WoW, which is coming in November next year, or this year, I guess, excuse me, is to continue to evolve the living world for all players, right? So build on their learnings from Dragonflight in 2023, but also for Classic, modernize the experience, and then, of course, keep listening to feedback. Deliver the first installment of their new trilogy, the World Soul Saga, through The War Within, which, of course, will come, summer, August, whatever. And then try to take new risks, okay? So number 3 is really important, okay? So coming down here, I'm going to read this out to y'all in case you can't read it. For the 10.2.6 patch of Dragonflight, we created what we think is a unique event inspired by past musings from the community. We can say that it is open to anyone with a WoW subscription if they want to participate, Classic or Dragonflight players. That's all we're going to say. Sorry, not sorry. Our goal is to continue to keep it secret and keep it safe. The speculation is great. We watched the reaction to the surprise of Season Discovery, and we thought we'd try a similar but different approach for Dragonflight. That means there will be no PTR for the portion of the next content update as we have traditionally done. What we can say is that it'll be coming out in March, and a finer point, but the update will also include everything that's needed for Dragonflight Season 4, but will be hidden. Around after the launch of the update, we will make Season 4 available for testing on the 10.2.6 PTR before it goes live. Why are we doing this? We like the idea of releasing content that has some surprises and isn't data mined or revealed in advance. We also like to see the joy of the community gets out of uncovering it all together as they jump into play together. We are looking forward to seeing if the community likes this type of surprise and look forward to hearing your feedback. This is a risky experiment and could be a bit bumpy, though we are doing everything we can to ensure its success. And then, they talk about more things to come and all that stuff. So,
okay.
No PTR, which we'll start there. What do you guys think?
Risky.
Yeah.
So are you more cautious, Shawnee?
I'm excited, but no PTR. That just means I can't watch YouTube for a few weeks while everyone cries when there's no PTR.
Yeah, but they're speculating. I mean, there's obviously that still, but yeah, I get your point.
Well, they did no PTR for this season of Diablo 4, and it definitely they should have.
Woof.
I think I can understand where you're coming from that, but one, it's not like they're bringing out a new raid or anything, right? They're gonna put Season 4 on the PTR to test the dungeons. And
I'm
of course,
excited for it. Honestly, I'm excited.
Yeah. What about you?
Just I'm excited but hesitant.
What I think is that, like, if they're gonna do something risky, then this is the time to do it when it only kind of like the diehard people are playing, because I feel like the diehard people are gonna be more receptive to just like anything WoW.
Well,
the
speculation is that they're also doing this to bring people back because people won't be able to experience it on YouTube beforehand, and so they'll come in and say, "All right, well, I'll play for a month or whatever."
Yeah, but I also think is that, like, they're not, if it's a big flop, then the only people experiencing it probably are going to be the people who have been subbed since the beginning of Dragonflight. So people who are already like down with whatever's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's I think it's cool. I mean, I think Season of Discovery is like a really cool, interesting idea, and fun, and what a lot of people wanted, and they were just like, okay, you wanted it, here, have it. So I'm hoping that it's something in the vein of that.
Kind of make me log on. I can say that.
What about you, Lithin?
Yeah.
I've been playing this game for 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
More if
you were in the beta.
I was in the beta.
Me too.
I don't want to talk about it. So
Lithium, when we are done with this, let's get our /played going and see how bad it is.
Spread across a lot of characters.
Yeah, we'll do the math.
That's true.
We'll do the math. It only takes a calculator.
The PTR thing, I'm not worried about it. I think it's good. I think it's great to be a little surprised. I enjoy exploration in these games.
I do too. I think that they should do more of that.
Yeah. I think this is a amazing idea, right? Like, don't get me wrong, I can understand where Shawnee's point of, especially with like Diablo, which is still, I don't want to say it's in its infancy, but it's still figuring itself out a little bit. Like, there's no risk in what they're trying here, because even the part that is risky, the season 4 part, they'll put that up on the PTR before it matters. Now, if they give it enough time, is another story, but they should.
I guess as long as they test it before they put it out.
Well, the way I look at it, like, I mean, this is probably okay. So let's sidebar here for a second. What do you think is going to happen? So we got a Skull and Bones flag across, whatever, to give us our only hint. And they said that they are using player, was it musings? Yeah, past musings from the community to build out something unique and special. Now, another thing to point out, anyone with a WoW subscription, Classic or Dragonflight, can participate, which means this affects Classic as well.
It's going to be a mobile game.
Because they just didn't already launch one?
I would love if I got my own pirate ship to make, to sail around on.
Oh, maybe they're going to test out player housing with like a pirate ship or something.
Well, and that was the initial rumor, was this player housing. But the truth is, how are they going to do that in Classic?
Why would they call that unique?
Player housing?
I guess they could implement they could make pirate boats in Classic also.
Yeah, they get it in Classic too.
Yeah.
It's interesting to say, like, anyone. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't see them doing something that's going to be a change to the game environment.
It's going to be like a holiday type event. I'm
thinking it's going to be like in dungeons, things will be happening.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. Like there'll be a new affix of sorts that, can come and go and doesn't affect, like, if you put pirate ships in Classic, for example, that has to stay. They can't take it away, right?
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't have drank this damn. I've got the burps now. Excuse me. That's the problem with like things that are honestly, player housing included. That would be maybe groundbreaking in the sense of that really would, I think, blow people away.
It's a bit. I mean, when they say Classic, I think they're talking people who play like hardcore Classic and Season of Discovery. Like, not maybe it's a new mode of Classic.
They just said Classic.
Yeah, I know, but I think they're including like
they are including
all those different modes.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily like, like to the actual Classic they're going to add something, because I think that would get poor reception, because why people are playing Classic.
I think that's exactly what they're saying. Experience. They're saying Classic, all Classics, but including base Classic is in this.
I think it'd be a mistake to mess with base Classic. I mean, people are playing that because they don't want it to be overhauled.
But if you had the choice of, let's say, doing what's the Stratholme, right?
Yeah.
And it would in 2 months' time would revert back to what it was. But you've been on Classic for a while now. Actually, sorry, we say Classic. They're in Wrath of the Lich King right now, so it's not even Classic.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're in Wrath of the Lich King right now, and you could go back and do all either raids or dungeons, or maybe both, with a new affix type thing going on. I don't think people would be too up in arms about that.
I don't know. I think it would be safer just to do a new thing like they do with Season of Discovery.
I'm up in arms.
All right, Lithian. I know you're a purist, man. All right. Any last thoughts on this before we move on?
I'm okay
Not
with
until
it.
it comes out.
So it's coming out in March. Our next episode will be on March 1st. Is that right? Let me check my calendar real quick. Yeah, our new episode will be on March 1st, so I don't think we'll see it before our next episode, theoretically.
No.
But keep an eye out for it. I don't think they're going to say anything else on the subject, so we won't know until we know. But yeah, I think this is amazing, and honestly, if it's even just all story driven, like it's just a bunch of quests which I don't think it will be. I think it'll be like an affix in dungeons. I still think it'll be great. Just something to kind of add a little spice of life to any version of the game you're playing. All right, next on the list, Steve Denuser, or Denuza, I don't know, whatever. Quietly left Blizzard last November. And why this is a big deal, I think, is twofold. So, Scrap, you've been researching Steve Denuza because you remember that name. Do you want to give us a quick background on him?
No, I can't. I really can't, because I have such a skewed
we never said this was factually or accurate. You don't have to worry about that.
During BFA, there was a lot of controversy about how Sylvanas' character was being written in a lot of the circles I was running in, people who were really into the story.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the blame was put on this guy.
Well, and it says in this article he was responsible for
He was a huge Sylvanas fangirl. Like I posted a couple of those tweets. That's what he got a lot of flack for, is that he was like on Twitter like publicly thirsting about the character he was writing is a little bit weird. And he wrote he didn't create Nathanos, but he wrote like most of that character into it, and people were saying that it was a self-insert because it says canonize the relationship
Yep.
between the two.
Yep.
I will say, when I was just doing like the light research, he did write a short story that I really, really liked about that, and I thought it was great.
So the reason why I think this is such a big deal is both pre and post his tenure as, like, I want to say he was the lead story guy for Blizzard, right? He took over
for Blizzard. For how long?
For World of Warcraft. Sorry, for World of Warcraft. He took over. My understanding, and
he
I
was
could
the lead story guy.
Yeah, he took over he took over at the end of BFA. However, Shadowlands had already been written at that point, so it wasn't truly his, right? But he took over after, oh god, I can't remember. Lithium, Google real quick who was the guy that was responsible for the BFA story. Because, there was the burning of the Teldrassil, the tree, the world tree, right?
Yeah.
And
so that's when he took over?
That's when the shit started hitting the fan.
Yeah.
And the guy who was lead story then was writing them into a corner that they're all like, what? This is ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? So he quit or he was fired. I don't know. But he was also embroiled in all the controversy with Cubicle Gate, right?
Okay. The guy who left.
The original guy, yeah. So Steve Denuza took over, and everyone blamed him for Shadowlands 2, even though he didn't, like, it was too late. Like, that was already baked, right?
I know.
So he started to try to clean it up. It's
really hard to place blame on people and saying, like, oh, like, this is, this guy definitely wrote all the bad stuff and none of the good stuff. I mean,
no. They're not saying that he wrote it, but he was lead, so he decided where it went.
I would put the blame on the lead then, because I feel like the BFA story was really bad.
It was this guy before Steve Denuza, and then Steve Denuza took over, but Shadowlands was already led by this other guy.
Yeah.
Chris Metzen.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Chris Metzen.
Wait, no, Chris, we love Chris Metzen. Stop.
No, it was someone embroiled in the Cubicle Gate.
Yeah.
And maybe like when we get a second here, I'll look it up. But point is that Shadowlands was pretty much baked, but you could tell that the tone was shifting by the end of Shadowlands, which is where, like, the jailer, everyone's kind of like, what the hell is happening here? Like, this isn't really making sense. Like, what's the jailer's motivation and all that? So anyways, Dragonflight was his expansion. It was his first chance to show what he was responsible for. And for the most part, I mean,
he was the lead story writer of Dragonflight?
Yeah, he was lead of Dragonflight.
Okay, I think he did a good job then.
Yeah, I mean, most people would agree that Dragonflight obviously is a big hit.
But again, you can't say, like, oh, he did so good. Or
However, there are a lot of loose ends from the Dragonflight stories, right? Like, first off, Alexstrasza.
Yeah, I mean, you have.
Why is she's so, I don't want to say neutered. I feel like that even that's sexist or whatever.
Unbelievably neutered.
But she's neutered, right?
Yeah.
I don't
definitely.
know. Shawnee, what are you thinking?
About what directly?
About the stories, like just the stories in general of Dragonflight.
I don't mind them. I don't pay like a heap ton of attention to them, but
you're just playing the game.
I'm playing the game. I'm enjoying them. I'm not.
I don't
like
think
either way into it. Like, find it hard to listen to Scrap go on a good story, because I'm sure if I asked her, she'd be like, I don't remember that. So
even though she reads all the books outside the game.
Yeah,
I haven't in a while, but.
But no, I mean, I'm just screwing through Scrap. No, I think the story's all right. It's not. I'm not like, oh my god, but like, yeah, I think it's all right.
I mean, I
wouldn't even say the story of Dragonflight is like great. It's very safe. It's like, oh, we have to go get like a series of MacGuffins and like put them together, and it's like, oh, there's these big bad guys who like nobody's ever talked about or heard about.
Hold on.
What?
What series of MacGuffins?
The little stones that you have to collect during the leveling quest.
Yeah, but do you not remember that those don't work?
Yeah, but the whole story revolved around like, okay, you have to go into this area and talk to this person and get the thing and blah blah blah. I'm not. It was okay. Well, yeah, I honestly thought the leveling story of Shadowlands was better, in my opinion, because it had lots of twists and turns and things. However, it fell flat towards the end because they didn't have a plan for all those twists and turns, and they didn't have a strong footing for like the world building.
Okay. I don't
In
want
my
this
opinion.
podcast to go for another hour, so I'm going to try my
You
best
don't
not
have
to go
to.
off in a tangent here.
Well, what do you want the
You
opinion
are-
on?
I-
Is
and
Steve
don't get me
Denuser
wrong.
leaving good or bad?
No, hold on.
Is that the idea?
No, hold on. I want to clear up this Shadowlands versus Dragonflight nonsense. Because, for starters, while you could argue, I'm not going to disagree with you that maybe the leveling in each zone stories were better in Shadowlands.
Yeah, that's what I'm directly comparing, is the leveling story to the
But the leveling was
story.
only, let's say, 1/10 of the story of Shadowlands.
Yeah, but I don't think the post-leveling stuff in Dragonflight is very strong. It certainly hasn't kept me interested.
You don't think Razageth, who freed her family,
I think
Iridikron,
Razageth is sick,
who
but
is
she's kind
taking...
of taken care of at the end of the leveling story. Like, you do the first raid, and then it's like she's gone.
But
she's the strongest villain.
But the raid... Yeah, exactly. She's a stronger villain than the jailer was already.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we have Iridikron, who actually takes this... He's the first boss of any WoW lore to take us seriously, right? He always warns everyone, like, no, these guys are the real deal. Don't mess with them. We have Dawn of the Infinite, a mega dungeon, which in and of itself is a banger, but the story behind it is amazing.
I like Time Dragon stuff, but that story isn't unique either. I mean, we've been fighting what's his name? Not Dormu, the evil one.
Murazan
for like since like Cataclysm, you know?
Since Wrath of the Lich King, but
Wrath of the Lich King.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it there.
So anyway,
we can go on about it, but I'm just saying, like, I think what was improved from Dragonflight to Shadowlands is that they kind of like started fresh. They were like, okay, time skip, you know, all those things that we left hanging. We're starting fresh, you know,
Yeah.
new story, new zone, new stuff, new villains, new things, some old faces and stuff, but for the most part, new, which is good. Do I think they did anything particularly good with that? I think they did okay.
Okay.
I think it was passable.
I'm going to go to Shawnee and Lithin here. What do you guys think? Plus or minus on Shadowlands versus Dragonflight? Did they improve the story? And again, Shawnee, you already admitted it. I don't know, Lithin, do you pay attention to any of this?
Nope.
I mean,
I leave that.
Okay.
I leave that to you guys.
Well, then it's irrelevant. The only other thing I wanted to talk about with Steve Denuser is I wonder if this had anything to do with Chris Metzen coming back on.
It says right in it. It doesn't.
Well, I know, and actually they lean a lot into the fact they lean a lot into the he didn't like their returning to office policy, right? Which makes sense, right? He probably could go work anywhere he wants. I wouldn't either. But they may also, I don't know how Microsoft operates, but they may revoke that now that Activision is, and what's his name? The guy that was president left immediately as Microsoft acquired them.
What is their return to office policy? Like full time, or is it just like?
I want to say it was 3 out of 5 days, but I'm not sure.
I feel like that's a lot for like a writing.
Now we're going to go into the politics of this.
Well, I'm just curious, but that's not like crazy, you know.
Well, they all believe it. I mean, it's the number one problem that the employees of Blizzard are fighting about right now. Is they think it's terrible.
I definitely think there's probably a lot of like dev jobs. Like if you're on the art team, like coming in like once or twice a week seems like more than enough. But like if you're on the story team, I feel like being collaborative with the storytelling is probably more important. But I don't know.
I think there's a grander story here, and Lithin, you would be the expert here. I think there's a grander story here to say that, again, outside the game, do you need to be in person to be effective and collaborative even? Lithin, what do you think?
It depends on what you do. I don't think you need to be. I work remote all the time, and I've been working remote before COVID, and it's been fine. I will say there's a video floating around about one popular company and their return to work policy that I'll share with you guys. That is entertaining.
I definitely see that.
Do you want to give us a quick rundown on the podcast, or are you just going to keep that secret from
I'm going to keep it secret.
You're applying to them. That's why.
It's definitely gonna. If they don't let them come back to work, then nobody's gonna steal anybody's breast milk. So. Maybe they should leave them at home.
All right, hero talents. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Okay, so Shawnee, you're not going into this blind. Lithian, are you going into this blind?
Well, the characters I play don't really have anything out there.
We've
That's
already
the
established
issue.
that was not correct. You didn't know Guardian had some of them.
Guardian has question marks, so
They have the
it's-
pillars. That's the
yeah, a little bit.
All right, let's go through it real quick. So just as a rehash, because Scrap doesn't know shit.
Yeah, I don't know this.
Hero specs were announced as part of the new War Within expansion, and the idea behind them is they are still part of the talent tree. However, they give you a choice at the end of the talent tree that we currently see in game now to go in one of two directions based on the spec you play. Okay, so for example, well, no, because the spec you play can only go in two of the directions, right? If I, for example, Shawnee, you were planning on playing Holy Paladin right now, right?
Yep.
You can only fall into either Lightsmith or Herald of the Sun, right? You can't go to Templar because that's the Prot and Ret one.
Yeah, but if you okay.
Right? And again, not to say that if you were to change your spec, you couldn't, obviously, yes.
No,
of
no,
course.
I'm saying I'm looking, there's like 3 lines on the tree to get to the bottom. Under Lightsmith.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about
Yeah,
within
the
the
top
town.
one.
I see what you're saying. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yes, you're right. I thought you were talking about something else. Okay. So, for example, Scrap, you, as a, right now you're playing Survival, you will be able to choose between Pack Leader and Sentinel, okay?
Okay.
Now, that being said, we haven't seen all of the specs and their hero talents. In fact, most of, as we pointed out already, most of us haven't seen a lot of the ones we like. But I did want to go through it, not because of our personal approach to, oh, I'm really excited about my Arcane one, or, Lithian's really excited about his Windwalking one. I really want to talk about some of the key things that are happening in them and just get y'all's opinion on them. All right? So I'm just going to go through them real quick. And by the way, just to point out, there are a total of, I think, 11 nodes. 11 nodes in each one of these, because when we start the expansion, before we even level, we're going to get the first node for free. And then the next 10 levels, we will get a talent point for each one. I want to say like 50% of them will have a choice amongst the nodes, but we will have enough points to fill out the entire tree. So there will not be choices of where the points go. It'll just be which of the two varying degrees you want. But you will always fill out the tree entirely. Does that make sense, Scrap?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll start with Death Knight real quick. This is the Senlayan. I'm not sure what the lore behind that name is. But it is effectively the Blood and Unholy version of it. And Scrap, have you played Unholy at all?
No, not really, but I played Blood.
You played Blood? Have you played it recently?
No, not recently.
Okay. But like
But I know like with Death Coil, that's right. I see Death and Decay
so,
icon. Like I know like it's not much.
And I'm going to move through this very quickly because again, I'm not trying to drill down into the nuances of each one, right? Mm-hmm. But like for example, this one, your Death Strike has a 10% chance to make your next Heart Strike become Vampiric Strike, which Vampiric Strike heals you for more, right? So more healing, more obviously. I don't know how that interacts with Unholy, but obviously healing is always great. It's kind of a defensive in its built
itself. It could be really good.
Yes, but they're not going to build the talent trees with.
Why not?
Because
you're going to use the talent tree in PvP.
You are. I don't want to disparage the PvP. It's not built for PvP. Now, can it help in PvP?
Directed that way.
Like for example, in the choice nodes, you might see that absolutely, right?
But I can understand why an Unholy Death Knight might want to be more survivable.
Yes, of course.
PvP application.
So that's the first point that we need to take away from this, right? Because survivability has been a very big topic for season 3. Being able to use your defensives at the right time to survive what are effectively one-shot mechanics, even though we don't see them at the levels that maybe people do at level 30 runs. But, we talked about Hunter a lot, and there's their survivability. Lithian, as a Windwalker monk, do you have a lot of survivability?
Yeah.
Yeah? More so than your Warlock?
No,
right? Like, your Warlock obviously is hand and fist better at surviving than your... Yeah. What about you, Shawnee?
Yeah.
When you were playing Rat, how did you feel?
I feel amazing as a Rat.
Because you got what kind of buttons?
Because I have so many healing buttons for myself or other people.
Well, even just your bubbles, right? Just your bubbles.
Yeah,
and
take care of me.
Yeah, just my bubbles and the fact that I can bubble to heal myself or keep me safe and damage is great.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like the point is that these Druid has already got one of theirs out, and they get some nice defensives on their tree, which is obviously going to be a big deal for the current meta of how surviving mythics go. In fact, here's the Druid one right now. I'll see if I can find the... Yeah, so this one's like reducing 8% of the damage as you have regrowth on you as they misspell regrowth. I don't know if that's Wowhead or Blizzard that did that. But yeah, I wanted to like just call out that as the first thing. The next thing, Scrap. So I want to move down to the Hunter real quick because again, we're not going to go through all of them.
Okay.
So there's two competing themes for these hero towns. Okay. I remember it, and Shauna, you were there, so you can tell me if you heard or remember differently. But I remember when they announced these, that they weren't necessarily meant to change a huge part of your gameplay. They're more just to make you feel more strongly identified with the feel of the class.
Yeah.
Right? Do you remember anything else from it? Like,
It was just like they're like, we're gonna accent and enhance and try to build more separation between the classes so they have more specific identity instead of them sharing as much. Because there was a time when the classes were really different, and then they kind of got all muddled, and they're like, we're trying to get away from that, and they never really did. So they're trying to give classes more identity within, like, they want, like, when you have a 3 spec of all DPS, they want each DPS to more identify with what they are.
Yeah. Yeah, and if I remember correctly, the video they showed was a warrior, and with a heavy emphasis on Thunderclap. And like the Thunderclap would be like a blue lightning version of it, as opposed to, I couldn't remember what, but maybe like more of a bleeding oriented one or something like that. Wasn't a huge groundbreaking change, but it made it like, oh, well, I don't really like Thunderclap when I'm tanking, but as a prot paladin or prot warrior, that might be more useful and visually pleasing to see that. I immediately thought of the green fire quest for warlocks. Lilithian, you've recently done this, right? It's enough of a reason for you to say, like, aesthetically, I feel like this class feels more fun, right?
Yeah, but you're not gonna pick it aesthetically. You have to pick the whole tree just to get green fire.
No, it's not. It's not like as bland as that. But that's like the feeling.
I feel like it could be, but
it could be. So on that point, Dark Ranger was announced for Hunters recently, and from what I can tell, like, they just make it. Okay, so I'm gonna read this. Black Arrow. It's a 30-second active cooldown. Fire Black Arrow into your target, causing it to take shadow damage for 16 seconds. Each time it deals damage, you have a chance to reset.
I mean, Black Arrow is not a new spell. I don't know if they took it out and put it back in, but
they had to have. There's no way they just like you have the spell again.
I don't. Yeah.
But and of course, there's like obviously things that are gonna make your disengage will chain the closest target to the ground, causing them to move slower. Like, okay, but like that doesn't even, I think, thematically change the way you feel about your gameplay, Scrap. I know it's not survival, but like if you were BM or if you were marksman, you wouldn't feel like that's an identity that you're associating.
I mean, I've already made it clear how I feel about this. It's one of these is going to do more DPS than the other one, and that's the one that most people are going to pick. They're not going to pick it because of thematics. They're going to pick it because it does more damage.
Do you believe that, though?
100%.
As a survival hunter, you're saying that?
Well, okay, so
as a DPS player.
As a DPS, well, no, I mean,
you walked yourself into this, so you're gonna have to dig yourself out.
No, I mean, I'm saying, like, within my class, like, I want to be the best survival hunter I can be, and I have to look up how to do that.
But you didn't look up how you did that for the first 2 months of you playing survival, and then
because none of the guides were correct.
So
they weren't correct to you.
No, because they weren't updated.
But isn't that further the point, though, that this, like, because they obviously make passes on buffing and nerfing shit. So
I wish that I could pick stuff that I thought was thematically interesting, but
you can.
If you're trying to push keys,
I think me playing Arcane is only proving that point.
I think that's the only allowance they give you, is that you can play like an off spec and be fine. But if you want to play this spec and roll with and compete with this other spec, pumping,
if you're playing but you're not playing at, again, this is the podcast for the rest of us. You're not playing at the MDI level. You're playing against people who are fire mages and they're shit, right?
Yeah.
You're playing against people who, more often than not, you're winning every DPS meter, and you're a survival hunter, which, if you want, we can pull up the mythics data and see that you're a D spec, right?
Yeah.
So that's...
You can pull up my radar. I'm still top 100.
Oh my god.
Since we're on the subject.
But you are, like, this is so frustrating, and I'm sorry, guys, I don't want to derail, but you are the perfect example of why that's not true.
Well, the fact that I'm the perfect example and I'm telling you this is how it is, that should give weight to that.
No, it only just makes you sound like you're loony.
No, this is the way I feel. Now, if there was more, like, if I could pick pieces of the tree, I guess, or change out pieces of them. I see that you can, in the middle, there's some that you can switch
So, like,
back
for
and
example,
forth.
here's one. You heal
There's
for 50%
three.
of all damage
Yeah.
you deal with Shadow or you or your pets. And then Exhilaration grants you 3% of survival of the
Yeah.
fittest. Right? Like, I mean, that's just like what it sounds like what defensive is going to be better for the situation.
What I'm trying to say is the shape of the tree doesn't matter. It's if the trees are comparable in DPS output and I can actually pick thematic stuff, I'm down. I don't care what shape it is. Like, I think that's good. But I'm not saying that just because they throw in a new shape and they're like, you pick one, it's thematic, whatever. That doesn't mean it is gonna be. That's my opinion.
My stance on this, and I'll let Lithian and Shawnee chime in, is that the game is balanced well enough that it doesn't matter to us. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Lithian?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, there's some amount of min-maxing you have to do,
Sure,
even at
sure.
our level, to complete keys, right?
Yeah.
But we don't take things to the extreme. Like, I look at different talent builds all the time on all my characters, and I think there's, even today with the talent trees we have, there's things you can move around to match your play style and the way you want to play the game. I think this is it's going to be interesting, and I hope that it gives you the ability to play the game the way that you want and gives you options based on the class you enjoy the most.
Yeah.
And if it keeps me playing one class the entire season or an entire season, that's
Not possible.
Mission impossible.
Impossible difficulty
Yeah.
has never happened.
Yeah, but I mean, like, okay, so
we'll
to
see.
finish this thought, right? So, like, again, Black Arrow, Shadow damage, it looks like a Dark Ranger, like Sylvanas would use. And then their capstone is Withering Fire. When Black Arrow resets the cooldown of Aim Shot or Barb Shot, a barrage of Dark Arrows strike the target for Shadow damage and increase your damage
That's
for your
cool.
pets for 10%. Again, a DPS increase sounds fun, but, like, thematically, same. You're not really doing anything different, right? You have one additional spell that you hit every 30 seconds.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Covenant powers.
To
or whatever.
contrast that, though, is Frostfire. Now, have any of you read up on this?
Why would I read up on
No.
that?
You're such an asshole. So, this is their attempt to rectify what was Frostfire. I think they introduced Frostfire Bolt in like BC or Wrath or something like that. It never worked out.
They did.
Right? But the long and short of it is every time, so if I'm a Friar Mage or a Frost Mage, one or the other, this is Friar and Frost, every time I use a spell of the other category, so every time I weave in a, Flame Shock, or not Flame Shock, what's it called? Fire
Flame
Blast.
shock,
Yeah.
shaman ability.
Fire Blast, as a Frost Mage, or every time I get a Ice Lance, I don't think they even have Ice Lance, but every time I do a Frost Nova as a Fire Mage, I will get a stacking mastery buff of either haste or mastery, right?
Yep.
Can stack up to 8 times. So the idea now is that I'm wanting to weave in other spells that I wouldn't have normally used. So, slinging out a Frostbolt with a fireball. They give us a new spell, Frostfire Bolt, which I'm sure will look, as it does. Like,
Wait, is that a
frost.
returning spell or that's a brand new one?
It is a returning spell, but it's been gone for a while, and
Okay, that's what I think the Black Arrow is.
They've reworked it. Yeah, them absolutely maybe.
Okay.
Right. But the idea behind it, the synergy between this. So, for example, with this, if I call down a meteor, ice comets will also now come with it. So, like, I'm going to see a huge visual change, to feeling like I am slinging frost and fire throughout my entire rotation.
I thought you said that they were doing this to separate the classes. It seems like you're merging it instead, which is cool. I like merging.
Well, and I think they're merging it in this case that you're going to see the same result between, you would see this no matter what, right? Like, again, you'd see the same result between playing Friar and Frost as you would playing Marksman and Beastmaster. It's the same Black Arrow. So it's not like, I don't think they can avoid that.
Yeah.
But
no, I
in
think
this
that's
case,
cool. I mean, I would love to be able to tame exotic pets. That's my take.
In this case, though, right? Like, I mean, you're trying to change the rotation because the mastery buff only lasts 8 seconds. You're literally changing the rotation to the point where every 8 seconds and it's not even a stacking one. It's like a overlapping one. I'm trying to weave in as much as I can, and I'm getting procs to throw out as many Frostfire bolts as I can, yada, yada, yada. So, like, to me, This is like, okay, this is amazing. This sounds fun. This sounds like it's going to be a game changer. And I haven't even seen what the other one would be for Frost or Fire. But in and of itself, this sounds great. I mean, what would you rather have of the two? Would you rather have a fundamental reworking of your entire...
I like this better than just giving me like a covenant power, a legendary ability. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's not unique. We do that every expansion.
Well, that's borrowed power though. So you only get it for the expansion. This is supposed to stay put for 3 expansions.
This is gonna stay put for 3 expansions, and it's not gonna change.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They might add to it, but they're, you know.
It better be good. That's all I'm saying. You do the 3 expansions.
Okay.
Shawnee, what are you
This is
thinking,
why I
man?
thought
Better be
3
good.
expansions is a long time to leave it that way. I don't know.
Good, dude.
What am I thinking?
Yeah.
I'm about which part of it?
I mean, just
Scrap
the two sides of this coin right now. Let's point number 2 of forget the thematic.
Would you
part.
rather it change your class a lot or a little? Is that what the question is?
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean-
would you rather have just a black arrow that fires out every 30 seconds, or would you rather have to, fundamentally juggle an entirely different spec?
Honestly, I would rather have things change a lot.
Mhm.
I would rather them make it like another spec even.
Which,
in
I mean,
ways,
fundamentally they are, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that Frostfire idea a lot.
I like the idea of, like, I've always said, if they're not gonna keep adding more classes, put in put in more specs to classes.
Which is effectively what this is.
So yeah, I mean, from what I've seen of the Paladin one, there's not a ton of like making it feel like a different class.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the Dark Ranger idea, if you're all smoky and dark when you're using this stuff and all the time, I think
That's true. We haven't
looking-
seen that. That's true.
if it looks different, and also like all the skills are adding like a shadow element to their damage for Dark Ranger, that to me is really cool. I'd probably like lean super into it if I've been playing Beastmaster all along. Then they're like, you're a shadow Beastmaster or something. Like, it's that to me is more interesting.
If
than,
you
like, here's some DPS.
I mean, and if you were big into the idea of, okay, so Sylvanas was a Dark Ranger, and like that's like the class identity that they're going for.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be enough to make you feel like I'm teetering on the edge of that kind of power?
Yeah.
What they've
cool.
given the hunters right now?
Yeah, I mean, when you actually read through what the hunters got, like everything's like hinting towards, not hinting, but like it's like when you do this, you see more dark arrows with that, or
Mhm.
you know, there's a skill called Shadow Assassin, which sounds like,
Yeah, let's look at it.
Just
Uh,
it's just the name of it too, or Darkness Calls. It's the bottom right one. Like, both names I like.
Oh, there's-
All
okay.
shadow damage you and your pet deals is increased by 10%. I'm like, oh, more shadow damage.
yeah, but I mean,
So-
like that's not. That's not interesting. I mean, it's powerful, but it's not interesting. It doesn't change the game.
Well, you're gonna use Black Arrow way more, which I don't know if they ever use.
Yeah, but fundamentally, if I'm not using Black Arrow as often as I can off cooldown, then the whole thing is broken regardless.
Yeah, I don't know. All this shadow damage side to it, I think it's probably gonna look cool too. I like the idea of it.
He likes
makes
the
it-
aesthetics.
Yeah.
Well, and again, we haven't seen what, because again, I agree with you. If it looks really cool, even if it doesn't necessarily feel fundamentally like Frostfire does, then yeah, I can agree with you
Well,
that that's
I mean,
enough. But
I think aesthetically, when it says a barrage of dark arrows strike your target, I think they're gonna be dark, icky arrows, and a barrage of them stinging them, and I expect them to be shadowy with little smoke off it.
yeah,
Well, I know that people have been wanting to be able to create like Dark Rangers forever,
Yeah.
but I think they mostly just wanted to be able to have the option to create undead elves. So,
well,
and I
Yeah.
don't see them doing that anytime soon. So,
I think
although
I think
that
we
would be
should.
easy.
I think we should all go on the Mid Journey and type out what we think it should look like and see what happens.
Right?
all right, that'll be next episode. We'll just share our work. All right, so
My
that's the
own.
second thing, and I'm gonna skip Paladin to come back to it in a second. The third, okay, is the idea of support. Okay, so at BlizzCon, they explicitly said no more support classes, and that the hero talents
No?
would not be support based, right? And they released the
No more
Paladin one.
support classes after Evoker. They were just like, scrub that.
I think they're not saying forever, but I think they're saying like right now that's not in the plan, right?
Oh,
You-
what
you
the
know,
fuck?
Like the idea of like bringing out an additional mage spec that would be time warding or whatever.
They put in Evoker and they're like, oh, nobody liked it.
No,
Like, scrap it.
everyone loved
Yeah.
the
Augment
idea,
her? I
but
mean,
the problem is that
Augment
it broke the game.
Yeah, they need to fix it instead of scrapping it. That's what I think.
They're not
'Cause
scrapping
support is
augmentation,
cool.
they're scrapping support for now so they can fix it before they add more mess to it.
Yeah, I think they should fix it. I think support's a cool idea.
You want to be a bard?
Lithium, were we
Bard,
were we in concern of them not fixing augmentation by that conversation? I don't know.
No, I just think it's weird that they would announce that they're not continuing in that direction.
Yeah, because they have to fix it.
Is that what he said? Or did he say we're
Anyways.
just not doing it?
So they said explicitly that they weren't trying to make the hero talents support spec. And then they released, just this past week, the priest one, which now includes something called premonition. Okay? Replaces power
this is
infusion.
power infusion. Hello, what is
But
this?
you know what? But that's no different than the seasons for Paladin.
It is.
Oh, it's just seasons, yeah.
It is because you can cycle through these.
You cycle
you
through
can
those.
pick which one?
No,
You can
no,
pick which one?
no. I mean, you hit a button and a roulette starts. Every 1 second it changes, and then you hit it again to choose the one you want to give to
Wait,
the
it's
person.
a
you want.
roulette. Like you have to pick it.
Yes, that's
like-
what they said it would be. They said it would be you hit the button, and every second it will change to another one, and then you hit the button again to say that's the one I want, and then you cast it.
I love that. Although it should do it like a real roulette, like fast, like not every
no,
second.
no. No, because then
I
you'd
can't
have this.
heal you guys. I'm
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah, yeah.
I'm waiting for
I'm
whatever
waiting.
you
Well,
want.
no, but
Yeah.
Lithium, that's the point, though, right? There's going to be this problem of like, okay, you're trying to time everything, of course, and you're like, okay, I want to give Lithium increased physical damage on his monk. It's the third of the 3, so I have to hit it and watch it, because if I miss it, I have to wait another 3 seconds. Your cooldowns are going to only last 12 seconds, so if I miss it, I'm screwing myself, yada, yada, yada.
Can you run the roulette between pulls though? That's a big
Yes, you
question.
can. They just say you
So
could.
1 minute.
Oh, so then
cooldown
between
on it.
pulls you fuck with it. That's cool.
Yeah.
The skill itself has a minute cooldown, so once you've used it, you have a minute till.
Yeah, and there's other things that go with it. Like there's a chance that you will hit another person with it at the same time. It's a small chance, but you know.
I love it. I think that's great. I want them to do something like that with the Survival Hunter because we have random of 3 bombs, and it's just random which one comes up next. Dude, I would love a roulette for that. That would be
No, you
life
wouldn't.
changing. It would be so fun.
But
No,
obviously,
this should be another thing for you to complain about.
but
No, I would
they've
love it.
finally gotten to a point where power infusion is for the most part balanced, right?
And now they're fucking with it.
And they're not only fucking with it, but they're fucking with it in a more complicated fashion that isn't. I mean, do you think that's fun gameplay? I mean, it sounds like Scrap does.
What
but
are the buffs? Scroll up, and what are the buffs?
So
Are they that
the 3
different?
buffs. There's Solace, which increases your target's healing received for 25 per second, the tank one.
Mhm.
Insight, 10% magic damage. Glory, 10% physical damage.
What if you actually give the magic one to like a warrior?
No, so again, that's why you get to choose it. You would choose like Glory and then you'd give it to the warrior, right?
Oh, you get to choose after you've found out what it is.
Yeah. You hit the button, it'll go Solace, Insight, Glory, and then you hit it when it hits
You know what'd be
Glory.
interesting is if when you hit the button initially, you have to pick your target first. So you could
You may
really
have to.
waste
You may
it.
have to. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. You may have to. I think I like it. Those are really different. This is a risky.
Yeah, but again, does it sound like fun gameplay?
High risk, high reward. I think it sounds fun. I like procky stuff though. Like
Sure.
that's random.
Shawnee?
You like procky stuff.
Yeah, I like randomization in my rotation.
I think it'll make it interesting. I've had someone I know tell me when they're healing, it gets to a point where you're bored, so it'll give you something to not be bored with.
Yeah, but I
Should
think that's
make,
just the
like,
answer to that
casino
is
sounds.
more challenging content then.
Yeah, whoever said
Frank-
that needs to do
Frank
a
100% says sometimes when you're healing, it gets boring.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
wasn't
What?
pushing 23s, and then I pushed 23s, and I'm not bored at all. In fact, I'm getting angry is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Angry because Scrap's dead again.
I don't mind it. I think it's interesting. I like the idea of it. Technically, you could just slam 2 on yourself anyway. So
Well, that's another thing
if
too.
you
Is
slam it on yourself, nobody can complain.
well, that's the thing. They've also they like realized it as they were explaining it in the YouTube video. But they're like, oh yeah, I guess it doesn't really make sense for you to use Solace because it can reflect back on you. They're like, well, why would I care to have healing received for 25 seconds? Like, I'm not, that's not a problem for me, unless a very niche example. But yeah, so like there's obviously still things I need to work out. And I'm sure the feedback is going to help them kind of guide it. But to me, this is a support spot, right? Because this is going to identify most of your class outside of all the healing already. But now going on to paladins, theirs is this idea of holy armament, right? And Shawnee, help me out
Totally
here.
taken from that one dungeon.
So do you wanna explain this?
Basically, on the ground, there's going to be a holy bulwark, and if you pick it up, while you have it, you get a 15% shield for maximum health and 5% additional every 2 seconds, stacking up 30%, which I'm really interested in, just because I want to see you guys run around and pick up shit.
I
don't wanna
definitely
be
You,
sure.
you
will.
left the other half of it
Nope.
out. Shawnee,
Oh yeah, the sacred weapon. Well, with a sacred weapon, your spells and ability have a chance to deal additional holy damage or healing.
Can
So,
you imagine a cat
dude.
fight, right? So Shawnee, you're healing.
Yeah,
A sacred weapon drops on the floor,
Yeah, you put it
Yeah.
in between us. That would be funny.
and Scrap and I go diving for it.
Diving,
Yeah, you guys.
yeah.
It goes to a target location.
No,
and I don't get to
target.
place
Yeah,
it.
even better. You can put it in like
I know,
video
sure,
sure.
target
Place it.
locations.
No,
I don't.
It just
It's
happens.
from
It's
reading,
random.
I don't place it. It's
But-
random.
But
Oh.
let's say it drops right next to your feet, right? You're doing
It
whatever.
says it has 2 charges, so I must be able to like hit it, and then it drops wherever.
I think so.
I love it.
But here's the
I love
thing:
that.
Scrap and I go diving for it because it's a cat fight.
hmm
We both go diving into sanguine or volcanic or whatever, and now you're having to do more healing because of our greed.
Yeah,
I
you know
mean,
what? I'm already
anytime-
gonna have. If you and Scrap are in a key, 100%. I have both of my beacons on you two. Anyway,
Anytime
so,
That's 'cause
like,
you don't wanna
there's,
hear
like,
us
a
complaining.
trinket-
Yes.
Anytime there's like a trinket or an ability or something that's like you have to stand in this so you get more DPS or whatever, I will stand in sanguine and I'll just be like, heal me, healer. Like I will do
I
that.
mean, in the end, I don't think I'll hate it because I'm getting, a lot of bonuses from the atonements anyway. If someone picks up the atonement, I also can get a bonus from the atonement. So
I don't know. I just
Um,
feel like this is a trap, because it's
I-
technically a support vehicle, right?
but it all supports me, so I'm happy with it.
It also takes care of me.
I don't
Yeah,
think
that's all that
I don't think
matters.
augmentation doesn't take care of themselves.
I don't know what augmentation does, so
Lethan, what do you
Yeah,
think?
I'm not
man?
even sure they do anything.
If only I knew a guy that played that once.
You
Like,
feeling
you
feeling
can-
good though? You feel like this is the way it should go?
I'm liking it. I'm really excited about it. And if you guys didn't play like idiots, it would be great that I could be like, all right, I'm gonna put beacon on 2 of the DPS, and then when a bulwark comes down, the tank can pick it up, so I don't have to heal him as much. So it's almost like a third beacon for me. That's how I'm looking at it. But I don't like. I know Scrap's gonna go after it anyway, and she'll be like, "Oh, I got more health. I can stand in more shit."
Yep,
So-
that's what I'll do. I'll go after it no matter what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but no, it interests me a lot.
it doesn't interest
So-
me. I just genuinely feel like as I'm tanking, right, and I want that holy bulwark because it's a prop one, right?
Yeah.
I want that holy bulwark, and it flies off wherever. I'm now moving, and then the boss does a cleave or the boss does a frontal.
Well, we're assuming that it's gonna be like 1 billion miles away from us.
No, I mean it could again. I pivot 2 degrees, and I'm now pointing at you.
So yeah,
we yell
so you
at
wait
Frank all the
so
time
you wait
for
a
spinning.
second for that
Yeah, like
cleave to go
after the
by.
frontal.
But what if I need that
Yeah.
30% damage reduction to survive the frontal?
Don't worry about it. I'm gonna keep you up, bro.
All
My
right,
lay on
hold
hands
hold
gets
on.
a big cooldown.
1 hour,
from that
8
stuff.
minutes. I'm saving that. We're gonna pin that, and we're gonna come back to it in season 4 when he's like, "What the fuck, Frank?"
Yeah,
No, dude, like I'm telling you, I am so excited to heal.
Well, it's good. I'm happy. I don't
just
think you're going
because,
to be
like,
happy, but
Can you
I mean,
make
you
a
know what?
reel of all the positive things Shawnee is
You know
saying right
why?
now so we can play it later?
I'm so DPSing with you guys has destroyed my life.
What?
Wow. Wow.
How? Because you guys treat mechanics like they're my job only.
So
I
you
don't
may as
know.
well heal.
I want to be clear
Yeah, but
though,
just
Johnny.
like,
Are you
yeah,
talking to
it will
all
be your
3 of
job
us here,
only.
or are you talking to?
I'm not all 3 of you, but you know how you always say you guys when you're yelling at us, and you're like, "Well, not you, Shawnee, of course." Same
Yeah.
goes for you, Frank.
Okay, good.
But I didn't want to single
Thank you.
out 2 people. You
Well,
know?
there are other people we play with. In fairness, that would
yeah,
also.
and that other person
Mhm.
is better at mechanics than the 2 of the people currently in the podcast. But yeah, no, it's the running joke, but it's also true that I am Scrap's mechanic tool.
If I had $1 for every time I just genuinely said, I think I need to stop playing after doing a dungeon with Scrap, I get it.
It's usually when she's like,
You guys
why didn't
can't
you
keep
remind
up
me
I
of that?
interrupted the
problem.
Shadow Bolt, but you didn't interrupt the
yeah.
thing that murdered us all.
Yeah, well,
But I play with you guys because I love you guys to death, but I'm like, if I'm already having to be like, I better put a word of glory on them, I might as well just heal.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
And that way I don't have to worry about where I'm sitting on DPS. Because I
So-
see what it's done to all of you.
Okay, well, let's put a bow on this. Lithin, final thoughts on Hero Towns. What are you thinking? Are you feeling good, bad?
You know, I'm gonna wait and see. That's where I'm at right now.
All right, you've heard it here first, folks. He's waiting. Johnny,
I'm excited.
yeah? You feel
Yeah,
like
I think it's gonna be. I'm feeling good about what I've seen so far, and I'm like, also, I'm like, it'd be great if there was two, like, if you tanked on your pally and I was on my pally, and we had like,
armaments just
there's a
flying
chance-
all over the place?
you could have a ton of them everywhere. Like,
Okay.
imagine how buffed everyone would be,
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
especially,
Scrap,
I'm already buffed.
I don't know. I'm doubtful.
I'm using
I
that
feel
as
like
your,
it's just.
your thumbnail, by the way.
I think it's just another Covenant power. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean, it sure, but that's like the whole creep. That's always the creep of games like this.
That's fine, but I'm not gonna be excited every time they do like, oh, new Covenant power. Like, okay, whatever. You got to do
well,
a new
this
power
stays
every.
with us,
I
so
expect it. You know, like you better give me a new Covenant
Sure,
power every now and
but
then.
no one's arguing that. I think the argument is, are you looking forward to this new power?
Oh, I haven't seen what mine is yet, so I don't know. Depends.
are you gonna play
Strap,
survival?
unimpressed.
Oh, I said
expansion?
doubtful.
The problem with us doing the podcast for the rest of us is that you guys don't
Mhm.
give a shit about anything but not you, Shawnee. I'm, same deal.
Right?
I'm not
See?
talking about you.
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
Oh, Christ almighty. All right. Well,
Yeah.
either way, we've got 10.2.6 coming out March. So more than 2 weeks, which will be, ideally our next episode. On my thoughts on Hero Towns is I am cautiously optimistic because of the Frostfire one. But I am also very worried because I think the Paladin one right now is a huge problem. Like for Holy Paladin, sure, fair enough. I still think you're going to be bringing more problems upon yourself that you don't want, but that's, I guess, something you're looking forward to.
No, I mean, that one alone, just the atonement, I think it's not going to go in far and crazy places as you think. And if you can't not squirrel in a nut it, then it'll be fine.
Did you ever play Brewmaster before they gave you the thing that sucks in all your little orbs to heal yourself?
Yeah.
You as a Brewmaster, you used to have to run over the little orbs that would
Yep.
heal you.
Don't you have to on Demon Hunter too?
I don't know.
No.
I thought you had to.
You have a button
Do
that
they
sucks
come
them in, right?
closer now?
No, yeah, you don't have to. It's the same as Monk.
It was a huge problem for Brewmasters, and that's why again I'm anxious. But whatever, we'll give it some time. And honestly, the whole reason they're doing this is they're looking for feedback. So please, if you haven't already and you have a strong opinion about it, go on the forums, talk to them. We'll see alpha and beta. I mean, we'll probably see alpha in the next month and a half, if not. So we can see some of these things in action. They said they want to get all of them out before the alpha starts, so hopefully we'll have some more trickle in here in the next couple weeks.
And that's only one of the trees anyway. So who knows what the other one
Yeah. And again, the other one could be like absolutely banging for what I want, and you could be happy with your armaments one, and so on and so forth. That's the point, right? Next time, sorry.
I mean, who knows? I might see the other tree and be like, "Oh my lord, this is perfect."
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
And that'd be good.
lord.
That for you. That'd be two great choices.
hmm
Next time we meet, I think we're going to talk a lot about the next expansion and maybe even some wishlist stuff for season 4 built into it, right? Things we want to see out of. I mean, we're obviously heavy Mythic Plus players, but things we want to see out of like maybe more of the raids and even maybe the leveling experience, right? So you guys feel good about that for your homework?
I'm
I
not
got a
gonna do
list
any
of that.
homework.
Of course
but-
you're not, Scrap. You're that type of student.
But it's good. I'm like the person. I'm like the audience. Like you
No,
have to
you're the
explain
person
it
that's
to
in
me.
love with Nathanos, and you're upset that they got rid of the guy.
I did like Nathanos. I thought he was fun. I just like a cartoon villain. You know, I thought he was good.
Well, either way, Lithium, any last words?
Let's go do a key.
Oh yeah, he's been asking us all day. Shawnee, any last words?
I'll do the key after I say goodnight to my wife.
Oh, wow. And then Scrap, as always, any last words?
I'm not doing a key unless Austin's doing it with me. See him in
Why?
Discord.
Okay,
Scrap?
sure. I mean, there's
Well,
no
'cause
problem with
Austin's
that.
cool. Because
Wow.
I'm sick of doing keys with you guys.
She's single-handedly dismantling E-Team. Wow. Well,
Honestly, I'm gonna go do Valentine's Day stuff on my death knight because I'm done with keys. So.
again, last word, and she uses 400 of them. I'm Frank signing off for episode 4. Thank you for listening, and we'll see y'all next time. Take care.
Later. Can't believe Scrap.